this. We're going to go to Exodus. We're going to go to chapter 19. Listen to what God told Israel. And Moses went up to God. And the Lord called to him from the mountain, saying, thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. So who is God talking to? Israel. Listen to what he says. You have seen, they are eyewitnesses. And this is what really becomes the problem. They were eyewitnesses, yet they did not believe God. What I did to the Egyptians, who represents what? The flesh. And how I bore you. Israel. How did God bear Israel? On eagle's wings. How many wings do you think God bore them on? 2. Where you find the answer to that, Kevin? I just showed it to you in Revelation chapter 2. Even though in Exodus, he didn't tell us how many wings he had. But he tells us in Revelation chapter 12 how many wings. So who is the eagle? The eagle is God. The eagle has always represented deity in the scriptures. Okay, now let's go look at another one. Let's go look at Psalm 191. Something that is familiar to a lot of Christians, because a lot of people pray this as a prayer. And rightfully so. It's a wonderful and beautiful psalm, but man, it is a glorious prayer about abiding in the presence of God. Now, watch what it says here. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High. Now, who dwells in the secret place of the Most High? Only the children of God. That's who dwells in the secret places of the Most High. So what do we see? We see you're going to abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord. Why? Because you are abiding in God. He is my refuge. He is my fortress. My God, in him I will trust. Surely he shall deliver me from the snare of the fowler. Who's the fowler? The devil. And from the perilous pestilence. What is that? Sin. He shall, who's the he? Who's the he? The Lord shall cover you with his feathers. Who has feathers? The eagle. And under his wings, how many wings do the eagle have? He has 2. You shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and your buckler. So what is God talking about? God is talking about protection. Protection. So the wings is protecting you. The eagle is God. All right, one more, and we're gonna go back. Okay, here's our third witness, and there's more, friend. I'm just showing you 3 witnesses so that you can be certain that I'm telling you the truth and that what I'm saying is coming straight out of the book. Let's go to Isaiah. Now, this again is another scripture that is totally familiar to believers who have read the book and have some understanding of exactly what I'm talking about, simply because they read the book. Now look what God says. Have you not known? Have you not heard that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, he neither faints nor is ever weary? His understanding, God's understanding, is unsearchable. Friend, look, we understand a smidgen about God and who he is. That's it. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might, he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fail or fall. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. The people who's waiting, shall mount up with what? Wings. How many wings? Two. Like eagles. Who's the eagle? God. Why does he say eagles? Because you're part of his body. It's God and you. You are going to mount up. You're going to mount on a white horse and come back with it. The Lord went up from the grave with a shout. You and I are going to come out of that grave with a shout. Oh, friend, this is so beautiful. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Why? Because this mortal body that you and I have is going to put on immortality. That's why. All right. Now, let's go back. Back to Revelation. Watch this. So we understand what the eagle is, or who the eagle is. He's a great eagle who happens to be the Lord. His wings is for protection of his own children. If you are not God's children, or one of his children, he's not talking about you. Your father is the devil. Kevin, you can't go around calling people children of the devil. I didn't. The creator of all creation calls them the devil's children. I'm just repeating what he said. That she, who's the she? She is Israel. Might fly into the wilderness. Now, what does he mean when he says that they're going to fly into the wilderness to her place? Now, you have to remember where we are. We are in the book of Revelation. We are this close from the Antichrist revealing his true self. Okay? The abomination of desolation haven't happened yet. It happens in the next chapter. Satan now begins to reveal himself, and this is when the abomination of desolation happens. This is why she is fleeing. I'm sorry, I should say it did happen. This is why she's fleeing Jerusalem. That she might fly. Is she really flying? No, friend. He just gave you a type of how Israel is going to move swiftly to the place where God is going to put her. Where is she going? Watch. You have to come back here to Zechariah. It explains what just happened. So you see what I'm doing? You see how you're taking the Old Testament prophets, to use the Old Testament prophets to explain things in the book of Revelation. This is how you know for a fact that it's talking about Israel, because that's all the Old Testament prophets talked about. Right here. So when Jesus comes back, his feet, no, right here. All right, look at this. So this is what's going on. This here is at the very end, at the second coming. And God is going to give Israel a place to run. Watch. Behold, the day of the Lord is coming, and your spoil will be divided in the midst. Talking about the devil now is persecuting Israel. That's what he's talking about, the spoil. For I will gather all nations to the battle against Jerusalem. This is the battle of Armageddon at the end. The city, Jerusalem, shall be taken. They're going to destroy the houses. They're going to rape the women. That's what it says, friends. Half of the city will go into captivity, but the remnant, what remnant? The 1/3 of the people, of the Jews that Zechariah talked about in the previous chapter, 1/3 is going to live, 2/3 are going to die, shall not be cut off. They won't die from the city. Then the Lord, who? Jesus, will go forth from heaven and fight against those nations. Where's this? Go read Revelation chapter 19 if you want to know what that's talking about. Go read that chapter. That's exactly what it's talking about. As he fight in the day of battle. And in that day, in what day? When he comes back, his feet will stand. This is literal, friends. Jesus in the flesh, in bones, no blood, is going to come back and he's going to stand on the Mount of Olives, which faces Jerusalem on the east. Now, this is basically the glory of God that left in the book of Ezekiel. It shows you in steps, starting in chapter 9, the glory of God leaving Jerusalem. He left through the eastern gate. He left on Mount of Olives. Jesus Christ was resurrected, and he left his disciples and apostles where? On the Mount of Olives. He goes into heaven. When he comes back, where did he come back to? He comes back to the same place. So he left out of the temple from the east gate up on Mount Olive and went back into heaven. Jesus Christ did the exact same thing as a man. The same way the Shekinah glory left the temple when Ezekiel saw it, the man Jesus Christ did the exact same thing. Now the man Jesus Christ comes back to the same place where he left the disciples. And he stands on that. And guess what happened? The mountain splits in two. Okay? It splits in two from east to west, making a very large valley. Half the mountain shall move to the north and half the mountain toward the south. Now watch what happened. Then you, who is the you? The you is this 1/3, the remnant of Israel, the Jews. That 1/3 is going to flee through my mountain valley. For the mountain shall reach to Azal. Yes, you shall flee as you fled from the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. Thus the Lord my God will come, and all the saints, the Old Testament saints and the church, listen, with you, with God. Where are you going to be? You're going to be in that same party with God. You're coming back with it. If you're a believer. If you're an unbeliever, you're in hell right now, or in Hades, Sheol, in a prison, being tortured in the flame. You don't want to be there, friend. You need to be a saint. You got to be born again. Okay, so this is why the church, then he's talking about Adam and Eve, Abel, Enoch, Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. He's talking about all of them, along with everybody in the church age. Everybody who had died and been to heaven. They're coming back in the second coming. And that's the same thing where Revelation chapter 19 again. All of us. All right. Now, let's go back. Oh, one more. Let's pick it up again. Now you say, man, you haven't gotten to, you haven't gotten to more than 3 verses. And you're doing all this explaining. Yes. So you see how the book of Revelation is tied to the Old Testament. Everything in the book of Revelation, friend, is just giving you more details on something that was already written. Yes, something somewhere is already written in the Bible that give you reference to all of this. That's what you see me doing. And this is why it's so important that you and I read the entire book. It is impossible to understand this book, Revelation, without knowing the Old Testament. Impossible. Why? Because that's what it's talking about. Look at this. So you have this woman, Israel, going into the wilderness, going into the world, again, the nations, to her place. God says, I'm going to nourish her there for a time. What is time? One, singular. And times two, one plus one. And a half a time. So what does that equal? That equals 3.5 years. So how long will God protect the remnant? Excuse me, 3.5 years. Who said that? Daniel said that. This is a quote from the book of Daniel. From the presence of the serpent. Who's the serpent? He's the devil, Satan. So the serpent spewed water out of his mouth. What's the water, friends? It's the army of the world. Okay? Out of his mouth like a flood after the woman. So you see where in Zechariah, where all the nations are going to be gathered. So what is that? He's talking about the nations. Now this is humanity. Humanity. So that's the water.